Good morning, class. Today we're going to introduce a new concept of fractions. But first, what we need to do, we're going to review what we learned yesterday about the basic knowledge of fractions. One thing we need to remember with fractions is that a fraction is a part of a whole.
Alright, so to represent our first fraction, we're going to use Skittles. We have some yellow Skittles and some green Skittles. So we're going to show this as a part of a whole. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 Skittles in our whole, and 1, 2, 3 of those Skittles are yellow. So 3 out of 4 yellow Skittles.
So as Robert just said, we had 3 out of 4 Skittles for yellow. We're going to, for our fraction, we're going to put 3 on the top, because that's how many yellow Skittles we're trying to do, and 4 on the bottom, because that's our total number of Skittles. So the yellow is the part, and the whole total number of Skittles, which is 4, is the whole. So we have part over whole.
Alright, and today, to expand on our basic knowledge of fractions that we already have, we're going to learn how to add fractions. When adding fractions, the most important part to remember is that we need to have the same bottom number, which is also known as the same common denominator.
So when we add fractions with the same bottom number, which is the common denominator, all we have to do is just add the top. So an example of this would be 3/4 plus 1/4. And we have the same number on the bottom, so all we have to do is worry about the numbers on the top. So it would be 3 plus 1, which equals 4/4.
Alright, so to visually show you that here, we have some flour tortillas. So what we're going to do is we're going to take half. So we have half of a tortilla, and then we want to add to that another half. So since we have the same common denominator, or the same bottom number of 2, we can just add the top numbers together. So we have 1 and 2, so our fraction would be 2/2.
Another example of this is we have our full tortilla, which is split into 4 equal parts, which is 1/4. So our problem is we're going to do 2/4 plus 1/4. So we have 1, 2, 3/4.
Alright, so as you can see from those examples, when we have the same bottom number, it's pretty easy to add the two fractions together. But when we have different bottom numbers, then there is an extra step because we'll have to find what that common denominator is.
So for adding fractions, we have 3 models that are very helpful. We have the area model, the length model, and the set model.
Alright, so first we're going to show you the area model here. So what you're going to do is you're going to have your fraction. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to add 1/4 plus 3/4 and find our answer. So for 1/4, we've already drawn some blocks here with 4 pieces in each. So we're going to shade in 1/4 of our area here, and then we're going to add to that 3/4. So we shade in 1, 2, and 3 out of our 4 are shaded. So then we're going to count up and see how many fourths we have total. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to shade in 4 sections. And as you can see here, since there's only 4 sections, our fraction equals 4/4.
So with the length model, we're going to take a strip of paper, we're going to split it into 4 equal parts. So we have 4ths out of the whole. So we will model this with going 2/4 plus 1/4. So we have our 2/4 here of the whole, colored in black, plus 1/4, which is colored in green here. So our answer would be 1, 2, 3, 3/4.
And then the last model that we are going to go over today is the set model. So we're going to use different colored chips here. So we're going to have represent 2 out of 4, and then we're going to add 1 out of 4 here again. So we're looking at our yellow ones here, and since we have 4 is the whole for both of them, that's the same common denominator, so we are going to add them together. So we have 1, 2, and 3 out of the 4 is yellow. So 3/4 is our yellow.
So as Robert just said, he went over the third model. We have the 3 different models, which is the area, the length, and the set model. So those we can all use when we have fractions that have common denominators. But when we have fractions that don't have common denominators, it's a little bit more tricky. The first step we need to do is find a common denominator.
Alright, so we're going to go back here and use our area model again. And our fraction this time is going to be 3 out of 5 plus 1/2. So we'll draw those with our area model. Again, we'll shade in 3 here. And now we need to find a common denominator. So what we can do is just multiply these two bottom numbers together and give that a try and see how that works. So we'll draw ourselves some 10 frames. And then what we have to do with our area model is we still are coloring in the same fraction, so we still want to do 3/5 of this, so we shade in the same amount. And then we need to shade in half of the 10 that we have on this side. So we'll shade these top 5 here. So now what we are saying is we have 6 out of 10 plus 5 out of 10. Being we have the same bottom number or common denominator, we can add them together. So we have 6 plus 5, so 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So our answer is 11 over 10.
So another way we can use the length model when we have uncommon denominators is with this. We have fraction strips. So our problem is 2/8 plus 1/2. So the first thing we notice is we have non-common denominators. So what we need to do is we need to find a common denominator. And using these fraction strips, it's very easy. So you can line up 4 1/8 parts to model the 1/2. So as we see, 8 is going to be our common denominator. So once we're like this with the model, we can count it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6/8 would be our answer.
Alright, and the last method that we taught you was the set model. So we're going to go ahead and do that again, but with uncommon denominators. So what we're going to do is start with 2 out of 3 of our 2 out of 3 are red, and then we're going to start with 3/4 being red on this side. We do not have the same number in each set, so therefore we need to find a common denominator. So we'll add equally parts to find what our common denominator is. So we have 6, and then we add to this side, we currently have 8. We know that they're not the same, so let's try adding another set on this one here. So now we have 12. 12 over here, and we know that 6 times 2 is 12, so let's try adding until we get to 12 on this side. Alright, and we see here now that we added 2 more, we have 12 on this side. So we have 12 here and 12 here. So now we can figure out how many red we have out of 12. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So 17 over 12 is the fraction we get when we add 2/3 plus 3/4.
So far, we've only added fractions with smaller denominators, but when we have fractions with larger denominators, such as 50, 56, 60, you don't want to use these models that we're using to add up to find a common denominator. So we have another strategy that you can use instead.
What we're going to do is we're going to try to find the least common multiple here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the fractions 4 over 10 plus 3 over 8. So we could multiply 10 times 80, but that's going to 10 times 8, but that's going to give us a pretty large number. So let's try to find our least common multiple. So what we'll do is we'll write our 10 and our 8 and put a box around them. We want to pull out prime numbers, so we'll start with a 2. So 2 times what is 10? So 2 times 5 is 10, and 2 times what is 8? So 4. Once one of these numbers becomes prime, we know that we can stop pulling out numbers, so we just have to take these numbers here and multiply them. So we do 2 times 5 times 4. So 2 times 5 is 10, and 10 times 4 is 40. So our common denominator then would be 40.
So as Robert just said, our common denominator is 40. So the first step next that we have to do is we have to get 40 on the bottoms. So the first way we do it, we go 4 times 10 and 8 times 5. So that would give us 40 and 40 on the bottoms. So since we multiplied on this side by 4, we need to also multiply 4 on the top, which would get us 16. And since we multiplied 5 on the bottom here, we need to multiply by 5 again on top, which would get us 15. So our 4/10 plus 3/8 turns to 16/40 and 15/40, which gives us an answer of 31/40.
Alright, now that we've learned how to find common denominators with our models, or by finding the common denominator, we can solve any addition problem that we have. So, that's going to wrap up our lesson today. Tomorrow we will have some activities that we will show you, and you can get some more practice with finding common denominators and adding like fractions together.
Deuces.